How do you like that, DT? That's like 135, 140 episodes in. We've never done that, and you could have done it all along. But, but
Could have had the
by the way,
clapboard going.
we're talking about the room today, folks, and welcome into the room, DT, Holly, and Mitch, united again. And Holly, I love your background. Everybody, if you're looking, you'll see it on the video clip this week. It's absolutely perfect. It's a locker room background.
Which is as close as I've been to a gym in about 5 years.
And this dirty room is actually just a fake backdrop in my video. Also, I really don't have dust and stuff on every surface in my own home.
I don't know if I would paint it that color green and then plan on ever going in there consistently. It's like maybe that keeps people out. I don't know. Maybe that's your defense mechanism. But we're talking about like because I was watching. I'll be honest, it was an episode of Shoresy, one of my favorite, actually my favorite Hulu TV shows of all time. But it's a hockey movie or TV show. It's been on for like the fourth season just dropped. But in the last season, he's retiring from hockey. And they asked him, I said, what are you going to miss the most? And he just got all, melancholy. He said, the room, the guys. And I started thinking about that because that means a lot, doesn't it? I mean, it's more than just like for hockey players.
Absolutely, it's for construction workers too.
Are you speaking from
I am
experience?
speaking from experience. Um,
Well, I think that's part of it though, because like you see, and we talked about it before, and nothing for anybody personally here, but I see a trend for people they don't want to retire or they retire and go back because they miss the people they used to work with.
I just don't think they're doing it right.
But that's a very real possibility too. Maybe they're not
Yeah.
giving it a chance.
well,
Give it.
we should mention Holly, longtime retiree. I guess
I've been out
right?
for a bit. I've been out for a bit. I've checked out mentally for a long time,
Well,
but
that's okay though, because it's just I think it gets to be like more metaphorical. Like, in this one they say, the room he's talking about obviously is the locker room, where the place where you spend a lot of time together before and after games, during practices, and ready for the season. So it's like that's where the real is talk the bullshit with. Pardon my French. I got to stop with the swears. You talk the bullshit with your pals. The real friendships, the real deal. You talk about your family. You talk about the struggles. So you share a lot in the room.
yeah, I remember that stays with you forever. The room does. The concept of the zeitgeist of the room changes as you go through time because everything changes. But I mean, I remember if you want to go back, because honestly, we grew up for the people that don't know us. We grew up in a Midwest town, about 4,200 people. We had 13 churches, 14 bars.
Yep.
So most of our mental health needs were addressed. And
Yes, sir.
no need to go any further. But I remember the circle at the Illini Park. That might be my
Oh
first
yeah,
room.
yeah.
That might be my first room. You know, everybody met out there. Everybody was equal out there. You shot the
Wow, the
shit. You
circle. I forgot all about it. And I think we would all go back today. I think it's Sunday
Right.
afternoon. Let's go out to the circle this afternoon.
I think you get arrested. I think it's a Boy Scout campground now.
Really?
So anyway, we were all at first what Scots, and
Oh
then we were
yeah,
Panthers,
the
Yeah,
mighty
right?
Scots.
the mighty Scots.
Yeah,
That's
so we were
funny.
Scots, and we were Panthers. That was our room,
Mm-hmm.
maybe our Cub Scout troop or our
Yeah.
home room at school.
I went to Cub Scout with the professor.
Yeah,
They're in the same den.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
troop
tie it
what
all
one
together.
ninety nine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Troop 99, I think. Boy
99.
Scouts
Yeah,
was yeah, Boy Scouts was 99. I was there too. Y'all didn't see me though, but I was there.
Well, I think Martin's mom and RB's mom were our den mothers. And we all had there was in our little town there were a lot of different
that's
dens. A lot
so
of
weird that Catherine, your mom, wasn't a den mother.
Oh my God. Could you imagine
Oh,
that? I can
teach
just
me.
see it
Don't
now. I
don't
am
chuck that
Roz,
out
your
there.
dead mother.
Well,
Get
but a
off my
lot because
couch.
a lot of like even like you mentioned like the 14 bars, like the bar on a Friday afternoon. Go to Johnny's Tap, cash your paycheck. Johnny keeps the change, but all your buddies were there. Everybody's like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" My wife and my girlfriend, we're all doing this, and that's a room. But
Yeah, I had our barbarians softball. Just got mentioned the other night at a family thing. My sister was laughing at, that my niece's daughter is 14, worried about pitching, the stress of it. She's 14 years old, doesn't know if she wants to pitch in her softball team. And I said, well, 14, you're almost old enough to start smoking. A lot of people, that helps with the stress. And I get a bunch of severe looks and stuff, but so we're on the softball team. On the TV show The Office, that was kind of, the camaraderie of the team there that worked at the Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah,
Construction, like
yeah.
I do, you get in the apprenticeship, you get thrown, you're hired on this job, you're a crew or a gang, you're out in the yard gang, you're whatever at Nabisco, you're extra gang. You get put in those things and you develop some lifelong friends. And that's
Well, that's
what's
what.
given me the biggest hardship about contemplating retirement. I put that stake in the ground a few different times. So right now, for the audience, I turned 62 in
Whoa,
October.
good for
Yeah.
you. Still walking
And
around and stuff.
Congratulations.
yeah, so I just worked 306 hours in February. It's kind of too much
Is
for
that
an
a
old
lot?
guy.
Well, it's not got anything to do with the pride of his job. It's greed. It's just
Yeah,
Well,
greed.
that's what I heard. That's what I
This
heard too.
guy,
Because
this
nobody's been
guy's
making you
dragging
work.
around a gold chain like, you know, Jacob Marley.
but I had brand new apprentices on this job. I think my hall sent 37 brand new apprentices out to work that just got started this year. And, tease them, you jack with them all the time, but they're going to
Well, of
develop
course
some
you do.
lifelong friends in that crew. They're going to maybe vaguely remember their first boss who was yelling at them. I remember mine. He's still alive. He's 86, 87 years old. I, you know, I text him
Yeah,
once in a while.
well, that reminds me of the story. Like, speaking of the room, some guy was saying like when he was in high school football, obviously, that obviously it's the locker room and you had the team, the struggles you're going through. But he said he went home recently because his coach uh, passed away, and he leaned over the coffin. He said, and he whispered, "Who's riding the pines now, bitch?" But 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 he's I'm sorry, I just want to get it. But it's more like it's like you say, it's building brotherhood through struggles. And it doesn't have to be work, it doesn't have to be sports. But I think there's the language and the connection is different, I think. Because I think how you mentioned it doesn't matter what age, but I think it does a little bit because now, and I hate to bring this up because it comes up in almost every damn episode, but community kind of changed because of social media. So for the younger people, that may be their form of like a room.
Well, we don't know that. That's the greatness of the room from your own personal standpoint is your room changes for your room. I mean, and let me, and this may be completely off base, but it's like, what's the best music in the world? It's the music you grew up with because it always stays with you. And for the most part, most people are going to say that. And I
No, you're
think the
you're right. You're
room
right.
kind of stays with us. It just changes with us. My room was a lot more liberal when I was younger, and it's a lot more conservative now. And I here, oh, geez, can't even do this program without giving kind of a shout out to history to Carol's Variety and the Round Table. That was one of the biggest rooms of town where you could, I mean, in that room changed by the people that sat in it. You could even because it was such a big
Yeah,
spool
that's
that
a
they
good
had
point.
down there, and they had little mini rooms within the room, you know. But
Well, but it comes down to, I think it's just a place where people can share, like, again, we go back to the bar reference of Marcel, but and DT, you were talking about The Office. I thought for sure you were going to tip into Cheers, the old TV show, but where everybody knows your name. Someplace, sometimes you just
Same,
want to go
same thing. Yeah.
yeah, some place where everybody knows your name. So it's shared. Yeah, there's a lot of laughing and joking and stuff, but there are real times where people share struggles and they, get it off their chest and people kind of relate to them. And that's important.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll share something that I've been in AA rooms before, and
Yeah.
not afraid to say that because I think it saved my life. And that was probably one of the first time I saw how a room could work to actually help where people were struggling. The first time where I related to everybody that it was like I saw me and everybody else, and it's probably one of the only times I've ever seen that before. Because even us, even growing up together and being a lot alike, are different. That
Amen. Thank
it
goodness.
was an important room for me. let me live to be this long, this old, this long.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Anybody
ask
you
you.
spend that much time with, I think too, like my thing about 300 hours that I worked last, so we spent
306.
way more time with each other at work than we did with our families or anybody else for periods of time. You spent 2,000 hours a year or whatever it is with your coworkers. So you develop some bonds there that
Yeah.
last a long time.
And it goes beyond work. Like I've been invited to weddings. I've been, invited out to meet, those people like we're friends, and you are. It's like, you go through. It's not like war because I'm not going to be that asinine to think that anything we can do could ever, compare literally with going to war. But you go through, figurative battles with each other. But a lot of it, like we mentioned, most emotional support. But guy, let me. I was going to ask you guys a question. Do you think? Because I think that a lot of the quote unquote rooms we've been talking about were kind of guy centric. Do you think women feel the same way?
I asked my wife, and I don't think that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the rooms are the same. I don't know that the rooms are necessary. Maybe, and maybe it's just that I'll never understand it, which is probably more of the truth.
I would guess for large periods of life, theirs are not the same as ours. Um, Seems like girls, women are in competition with each other in a different way than men are a lot of times in the workforce or in romance, whatever. You see them pretend to be friends and then be very catty about each other constantly and stuff. But
Well,
they're
it's
young.
fair to say you
But
sound like you're scared to death, like something like you're going to get stalked and killed by one of them. But
yeah, so I don't think it's always that way. I don't think they're, like I said, there may be periods it is, but guys, it can be, you can a lot of times pick right back up with an old friend, or you run into them someplace,
oh yeah,
just like
I've done it.
us, for example, you know, fall right back into it pretty easily if we're not around each other for quite a while.
Well, I used it, and I just committed. I just commented on that's very Freudian. I comment about social media, and a guy I used to work with, John Weiler. If you're listening, they call him Blueberry, and I can explain it to you guys one day. But he got a hold of me 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, a common friend had passed away, but we
Hmm.
started chatting like we hadn't even met. I haven't seen him literally in, I don't know, 10, 15 years. But we started chatting. It was just like yesterday.
I think the bonds that you make, and especially the bonds that we had within work or as children, another room in my life. I'm going to just get out because it's just like uh, your bedroom, Mitch, on Thursday nights. That was a room.
You better elaborate. We got together with as friends and had beers and stuff in my room.
Thursday nights on ABC was probably the greatest. Was it NBC? I don't know one of those
NBC, yeah,
channels.
yeah, I
It
know
was
where you're
probably
going.
the greatest night of television series when it came out
Eh,
ever,
Maybe ever,
by
yes.
far. It was
Did
we
it
had
start with the
Cosby,
Cosby
Family
Show?
Ties,
Welcome back,
Cheers.
Cotter. What are you talking
No,
about?
There's
that was Channel
Cheers.
Two. That was Channel
There's
Two.
Cheers, Family Ties, and
Always something, and then
yeah,
then the big
and
dog.
Cosby.
But
Yeah.
okay, I got to explain it to you guys. I don't think John Weiler would mind if I told you because we're in the room. I can tell you. I'm going to tell you how he got to be named Blueberry. Okay. He said he was up. His wife, like earlier in the day, had made a blueberry pie in one of those foil pans, set it in the kitchen table to cool, and she went to bed. He's up watching TV, having some bourbon. He's walking. And his description, he's like got an old dirty white tank top and boxer shorts, and he walks in the kitchen later. He's like, "Ah, she forgot to put that in the fridge. I'll do it for her." So he picks it up, and the foil pan buckled. The whole pie went right on the floor. So he's down there half drunk in dirty underwear wiping up blueberries, and his wife comes out and he looks at her and she looked at him. He goes, "I took her right there." He took her right there on the kitchen floor. They were rolling around the blueberry pie. It was,
Ain't that
okay, I'm sorry.
America? Ain't that
I know.
America?
God bless you, John. Hope don't kill me if you hear this. But it's still funny to me. And that had to be 25 years ago, 20 years ago. He told us that story, and it's still funny. But
And it's great that can be a part of a personal room that's a public podcast.
Yeah, see, and now you guys are John's in our room. But I think, because we talk about being primarily more focused toward men, but I think especially today's society, men feel pressure from society to, tough it out alone. We always have. And at least a feeling of like isolation or loneliness. Friendships are kind of are a safeguard against this, but a sense of belonging, even if it's just virtual, reduces that isolation and helps, to maintain mental well-being for men. Let's be honest.
I agree. I agree. I think that at one time I needed it very bad. I was used to it and enjoyed the part that I played in it when I had my charity, and I was around a lot of people, and all the time to the point where it got to be a little bit tough. And I have to tell you that it's since I've pulled back, and I call myself a social ghost. For me, it seems like it's a little bit of a relief. I still like hanging out with people. One of the things that I love now is that we have Zoom if we want to use it, or we have FaceTime if we want to use it. So we're never further away than a screen, which is so Thunderbirds-ish that is it's just crazy. But I also just because of the fact that the demeanor and comportment of society in general has changed over the past decade, half decade. I'm not going to say I like isolation and seclusion all the time, but I do like my solitude once in a while because there are other ways I can still communicate and still be part of the room without actually being physically in the room.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of sick of it, to tell you the truth, because sometimes I spend like $6 on a cup of coffee to go do work at Starbucks because I'm tired of doing work at home alone. I want to see people, and I
Yeah,
think it might be because you and me, the three of us talked about the mental. We had a mental health episode, and we did. It was fact that especially with older people, uh, Facebook can be, or online societies can be kind of a savior.
It can be that can also be bad for you, depending on
yeah,
how you're positioned in your brain. You know,
I would kind of worry about that for myself. I am concerned about that for Holly. I have been for what, like if you watch 100 baseball games, you get to watch the baseball. But if you watch 10 of them at a baseball field with the same guys like bleacher bums or something like that, you're part of a social circle again, right?
mm-hmm.
For
The
myself,
bleacher
if
bums.
I walk out the door, I was walking out the door at work today. This may be the last time I leave the one powerhouse by me. I've been going out there for 30 years or something. And so if I do retire this year, each one of those will be the last one. I will not have, you know, ever changing, but it's always this group of guys who have similar, experiences or something anymore. Um, the retirees club from my local gets together.
Boy,
They plan on doing it once a month. And it usually ends up about once every 6 months where 4 guys, 6 guys, 8 guys might show up and have coffee or something and talk about old times. But I don't, like I said, it's just, that's a concern of mine is that I will not socialize enough. I'm a loner by nature. And,
well, you should maybe think of the
it's
other
a
people in
But
concern.
that
are you
scenario
also a
too.
loner by choice, though? If you're a loner by nature and a loner by choice, I think that's different. I mean, if as long
Yeah,
as
but I
it,
mean, I have to put effort into it when I am not working to go do something sociable with people. I mostly, there frequently might be a couple of weeks where I just avoid everybody, don't want to be around people. And it's probably not healthy if it were to go on, in retirement for in perpetuity, right?
Whoa, whoa! Wipe off your
and your
screen there, perpetuity.
and your accusation of me watching 100 baseball games last year is slightly off. I think it was more like 700.
Hey, and by the way, I think it's curious the way there's not too many words that rhyme with loner.
Oh,
See, you had to think because there's toner in a printer, you dick. I wasn't talking about boners, but
yes,
but
you
but we
were.
you can yes, I was. You can, but you can see like but that's perfect. That's a perfect example. It's like a shared vulnerability. DT's worried about that, but that's why you're in this room now, and we're gonna make fun of you. And
But
as you're
you're in
talking, I put my finger up my nose, but
TT. You're in Florida. Just up the road from you has to be a topless breakfast cafe. They're all, they're all over. Just to go for a drive. Go for a drive.
Just go.
You
Just
know
go.
what? You want to find the best buffets in Florida? Go to a strip club. Just go and get your needs met.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and I've seen it, and that's the saddest thing I've ever seen. People eating from a buffet at a strip club.
I don't know, man. Good crab legs are good crab legs.
Well, I'm talking about the food.
but
But
like Mitch, are you?
ah,
Does does it all seem like milk and honey to you, the retirement, or does it have some? Do you have some concern that your kids live far enough away where you're not going to see those guys all the time? You don't socialize with the rest of your family much, you know.
well, no, they keep dying. But and I've tried to get them back together for like family reunions, like even and I'll hear from. Let's not go into it, but it's like you guys, you can't be arguing. You realize you're almost 70 and you're still arguing. We'll get, but I look forward to. I mean, it's ways down the road. Retirement as just a way to start the next opportunity. So for me, I don't even know what the opportunity is going to be. I've got ideas now, and I saw another one yesterday. But I'm just looking for the next opportunity. I know there's going to be people in that room, but also, DT, you've got to understand, like I was starting to tell you in that scenario that you brought up about the last time you'll ever see him again, you don't know if you'll miss it, but take their their feelings into consideration too. They're really finally he's fucking gone.
Yeah,
He's
ticker tape parade when I walk out.
or a boot and get going. Over here, eh? But it is like literally, it's the focus on, and we always come to, and we can't ignore it, the mental well-being. It keeps coming up because friendships, especially amongst dudes, play a significant role. Like, because we get together, we joke like we're doing now, but deep down, it's like, let's be honest, we've known each other, what, 60 years at this point?
It's been a
It's
minute, and this episode actually it didn't give me the idea that I certainly didn't come up with it, but a platform where like this, where people just got together like Sunday morning coming down or Sunday morning chats. If we have the technology to put this Zoom room together where you can get a small group of people or whoever you want to have on here, and you can continue to have a room and stay
yeah,
connected. Being connected
ideally,
is it's so many different ways to be connected now. Guys, when we were lads, there was only like six things in the world. And there's like, and now technology is, relatively speaking, it's just like so much, it's like overkill. And that's sometimes why I like my solitude, is because like everything, when you go outside of your safe spot, is like it's almost like sensory overload anymore. There was just so little of everything when we were growing up, and now it's just so much of everything. You
yeah,
know, it's crazy, and
it
and
can
I know
be.
it makes me sound like an old man, because my old man, the first time we went to Universal Studios and I took him on the Spider-Man ride, he got off of it. We had to go back on. He looked at me, goes, "I don't know what just happened," and I could see he visibly was a little bit shaken. He was like, because the technology is so advanced that he had never seen anything even close to that. And he's like, he didn't know what to say. And I felt bad for him a little bit. And I hope I don't end up being like that.
I felt that way when I found the 1974 January Playboy magazine down at Stickles.
And who
Good
do
old
you remember who it
Blondie.
was? Because I've got a story too about Playboy
Was
because
that Barbie
my
Benton?
no, I remember that's my story though because I mean we had so many kids in my family. We went to like the weekend to the Howard Johnsons. I got left behind. They didn't I was the only one. I'm walking around the gift shop and my mom came back. She's in tears. She's hugging me. And over her shoulder, I looked at Barbie Benton on the cover of Playboy. Like, that's how broken up I was about it. I was like, fuck, you guys could leave me here a little longer if you want.
I just have fond memories of arguing with Blondie Stickle and Harold Carroll. Do you have to write on the goddamn magazines? I collect them. Do you have to write a date on them? Just leave them alone. Can I buy one from you before you scribble on it?
Well, I hope like when people listen to this, they get kind of a feeling like of the camaraderie of the value of the room. That's really the whole premise of the episode today. I think, it's and we talk about maybe not be as important for women. It might be for all we know. But if you want to comment on it, by all means, Mitch at mitchwonders.com. You can leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the episode. And uh, and here we are. This one will be probably around 140. So 140 episodes into it, and we're still in
That's
the room,
fine.
you guys.
And
I mean,
I'm
I
very proud of you,
personally,
Mitch,
oh,
because
go ahead, Holly. I'm sorry.
I'm very proud of you. If you remember, if people want to go back and search what episode it is, I don't know, it's before 30. You talked about how you processed emotions and that you don't well. And then
Did
bringing
I?
this up and going through this, to me, that shows growth. I mean, that
Oh,
short.
thanks.
Well, no,
I had no
it
idea.
does. It does. Maybe it always was a part of you that you didn't want to have people see. Some people think this is a weakness.
I do. I think it's a weakness.
What's it? What's a weakness? The episodes?
No, the any emotion besides anger. I let everybody see that one all the time.
Well, see, that's what guys are meant to do. But I'm glad there's rooms for them and for us. But thanks you guys for stepping in today. I appreciate it. And Holly, thanks for putting together that. Really, you'd be surprised how your background actually feels like we're in the locker room talking. And if I could, I would get a towel and I'd wet the end and I'd absolutely like snap your left tit off.
I'm going to go sniff a lot of shorts now. And
Well, you guys enjoy your day your way. I'll do it mine.
I
I'll see you
can't
later,
wait to
guys.
leave this room.
Get out of here. Later, guys.
Later.